what is one of the most powerful tools we can use to help us have body peace? I'm going to talk about that here in a second. My name is Tracy Brown. I'm a somatic dietitian and a tuned eating specialist. And I want to share with you one of the most common things that I see in people who really struggle with body image and body acceptance and body neutrality and even body appreciation. And the thing in common for people of all shapes and sizes is there's this shame looping that really pulls us down. And think about how that physically feels. Feeling like I'm feeling really pulled down by this idea that like I don't have the right body because its size, its shape, its texture, its age, its ability, whatever. We get stuck in these shame loops. And it feels really heavy in the body. And I'm not asking you to feel that right now. This video is actually meant to like fire you up and encourage you. But I think y'all know what I'm talking about is we can feel this heaviness. And that's almost like it's like a stacked on top of the whole thing of like whatever feelings we have going on about our worth, about what else is going on, we'll have this heaviness of what we talked about Monday, which is this internalization that something's wrong with our bodies versus something is just not right. And we internalize that as something's wrong with our body because of all the messaging we've gotten, right? And so if what we all have in common, no matter what shape or size you are, is this shame, this heaviness of shame, the thing that we might be able to use, and I've been doing this a lot this week, I've got this fire going, and it's the fire of like, it's okay for you to get mad. And what prevents us from that? I mean, healthy anger is a boundary maker and keeper. And one of the most common things that those of us who struggle with chronic dieting or disordered eating is repressed rage. And I think that's one of the linchpins. It's not the only thing, but being willing to be like, wait a minute, just because somebody over here is 7 foot tall, and I'm doing stereotypical things. So if you're 7 foot tall and blonde and really thin, I'm not picking on you, I promise. It's just that we tend to do in our mind's eye, if we're already feeling kind of just like this long-term shaminess and long-term repressed rage, we'll go out in the world and do some stuff, and maybe we're feeling kind of like, not so great anyway, possibly. Or maybe you're feeling pretty good, and then you see someone that has this internalized image of what you think is like ideal, perfection, and has no problems. They can't possibly have repressed rage. They're really happy, everything's great, their life is perfect all the time. And it feels that image projected out, oh, that's not me. Oh, I can't even be happy because of how I look. We do these things over and over and over again. And I think it might be really important to say, hey, wait a minute. I don't have to continue this. I do matter, and I can decide that even if somebody else looks different, and even if there's a cultural ideal, that if I can harness and not be so afraid of some of this repressed rage, it could be very protective for me. And it can be the protector that I needed to say, no, bodies are all in shapes and sizes. Or, this really stinks that I'm in a body size I didn't expect. And it's taken me some time to get used to that. Or, like my body isn't working the way I was hoping it would at this time in my life, or this age, or I have this illness. And you're allowed to grieve about that, and you're allowed to be upset about that. But the danger is sometimes we feel that grief and we kind of like sink down to the bottom of the pool again versus, and I'm going to lean on what's good in my life, and I'm going to say no more. Because shame and grief, they go together. They're heavy emotions. They're very much, if you look at the realm of fight, flight, or freeze, or please, shame and grief are down in the lower parts, and we need something to help us say, yes, I get a time for this, and this is not who I am. You're not broken. You're not meant to be in these like lifetime discuss cycles about ourselves. you need to use. Good morning, Deb. I'm so grateful. I'm glad. Thank you for sharing that. Good morning, Carol. It's really, really important that you recognize if you do have grief, that you feel it about this, but this isn't who you are. And allowing even just a little pinch of that, like, and one of the reasons I'm sad is because, and no more. I'm going to be done with that. And you're going to go back and forth, I know it, but if you can use this linchpin of like allowing yourself to feel like, wait a minute, kind of been taught that I need to feel like this crappy when I see people that look different than me that are supposed to be the cultural ideal. I've been taught that it's not okay for me to even like my body. My post yesterday was about like, I think people get really afraid sometimes to like their bodies if it's not the cultural ideal. It's like almost like, well, how dare you be happy? You're supposed to follow the programming here. And you not being willing to follow the programming, a little bit of that fire can help set you free. So I want you to think about today, how can we use a little bit, just a little tiny bit? If you don't have repressed rage, maybe it's right at the surface, but you find yourself not utilizing it in the moments where you're feeling this body shame, then that's your work this week, okay? Grief is so hard to accept regarding this. You know, there's something, though, really powerful about those tears that we can allow to be there. And if we need more containment around that, please get help for that, of course. Have some support. Have a snuggly dog on your lap and make your nest and let yourself have that time. That's just as important. All of these things need to happen. And I do think that everything that's on social media and all the blogging and all the posts and all the books and all the things are super important. But remember, we have to do more than head work, and we need to have embodied experiences. That I felt some stuff that was kind of hard, and I can do that in safe company, or I'm going to create some space for that where I don't feel like so much. So again, these are things that sometimes that we need some company for. So I highly recommend that you have a space for that. But otherwise, my gift and my encouragement to you today is this. Is that when you find yourself like, doing this thing, comparing yourself, feeling like it's not fair, like this, and it's not fair. I'm not saying that's not true. That's part of the grief process. But have some fire. Allow yourself to be mad, like this is not fair, and I don't have to do this anymore. You know, I don't have to be this person that feels like I need to be afraid to be okay with my body. Because the world is not going to wait for you. They're kind of counting on you not to be okay with your body. And so you can't mobilize into action to do the next thing in your life. So they're counting on that. Be angry about that, because that might help set you free. All right, until the next video, I'll see you all soon. Take care. And if this video was helpful to you, gave you some things to think about, please pass it along to your friends, because how often do we hear, like, let yourself mobilize a little grief. Let yourself mobilize a little, like, you know, I think that these systems are counting on me to stay stuck in this, like, something's bad and wrong about me, and either I hate myself or I continue to stay in the system. And, you know, when I say they, it's all of our own personal days. It's the big they that, you know, runs a lot of our ideas about health and beauty and all that jazz. You all know that. So it's just really important to say, nah, they don't get to do that this second with me. So you're very welcome, Mary. Thanks for showing up. And you know, you all help me. Again, I said Monday, you all help make these containers work and these messages go out. And I deeply appreciate you. So I'll talk to y'all real soon. Take care.